Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into something cutting edge, something that could totally change the game. For law enforcement, we're talking about the future of training.
Right, and how we prepare officers for the realities of the job.
Exactly. And we're looking at some pretty cool tech from a company called EON Reality. They're all about virtual and augmented reality, specifically for training purposes.
And they've developed this platform, EON-XR, with law enforcement agencies in mind. Have you gotten a chance to see this thing?
I've seen the reports,
Mm.
and let me tell you, it's impressive. One of the things that really jumps out is their claim of reducing training time by a whopping 75%. Get those recruits out on the streets ready to go much faster.
That's huge, especially now with the staffing shortages so many agencies are dealing with.
Absolutely. But it's not just about speed, right? It's about how they're training. Think about it, immersive 3D simulations. No more boring old presentations. We're talking about putting officers in realistic scenarios.
And that's where it gets really interesting. You can have an officer read about handling a hostile crowd in a textbook, but it's a completely different ballgame when they can actually experience it virtually, feel that pressure in a safe environment.
Right. It's one thing to read about driving a car. It's another to actually be behind the wheel.
Exactly. And that's what EON-XR is trying to do, create these realistic scenarios, crime scene investigations, high-risk arrest, you name it, all virtually, all risk-free.
And they're saying that this type of training, this immersive experience, leads to better skill retention. It's not just about learning it for the test. It's about actually remembering it when it matters most.
And building the confidence to apply those skills under pressure in the real world, which is, let's face it, when it counts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But EON-XR isn't just throwing officers into the deep end. They've got this adaptive learning thing built in, which basically means the platform adjusts to each officer's individual learning pace.
It's like having a personalized training program, right? The system identifies areas where an officer might be struggling and tailors the training accordingly.
Exactly. It's like, hey, you're doing great with de-escalation techniques, but you need a little more work on evidence collection.
And to top it off, they've incorporated a 204/7 virtual support agent. So if an officer is going through their training and they hit a snag, they need clarification, they've got help right there, any time of day.
It's like having a virtual training partner available around the clock. I mean, Eon Reality seems to have thought of everything. And it's not all just talk. I mean, they're claiming some pretty impressive results. Early adopters of EON-XR are seeing better officer performance, faster training times, and ultimately greater operational readiness.
Which is the goal, right? And they seem to understand the budgetary constraints a lot of agencies are facing because they've highlighted how cost-effective EON-XR can be.
Yeah, they've even pointed to specific grant programs that agencies can leverage to make it more affordable. They really seem to want to get this technology into the hands of as many agencies as possible.
It's interesting, though, because they've also hinted at EON-XR's potential beyond just training. They're saying the platform's AI and data management capabilities could be used for things like, well, case management, streamlining those daily tasks that officers have to deal with.
So potentially a much wider application than initially thought. I mean, we could be talking about a complete overhaul of how law enforcement operates on a daily basis, from the training room to the streets, maybe even back at the station.
It's certainly a lot to consider. The potential is there.
It definitely makes you think, right? As we wrap up this deep dive into EON-XR and its potential impact on law enforcement, are we witnessing the dawn of a new era? An era where immersive technology isn't just a cool gadget, but a fundamental tool. I mean, could this be the key to boosting officer performance, improving public safety, and maybe even building better relationships between law enforcement and the communities they serve? It's definitely a lot to unpack. But that's all the time we have for today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment on our website or connect with us on social media and let us know what you think about EON-XR and the future of law enforcement training. Until next time.